Current through your body. Now, water conducts electricity.
Is this the DEXA one where you lie on the bed, or the bio? Hey guys, welcome to Guy's Garage. That was Stephen Eddy from ATP Science and myself on the Healthy Aging podcast that we did a couple of months ago. It had a great response, and Stephen's a wealth of knowledge. He's a physics and chemistry major. He's also a naturopath, so we got a lot out of that video. But what I wanted to do was actually action some of the things that we were talking about in that podcast. And the first one is actually benchmarking your fitness and seeing where you're currently at. So that's what today's video is all about, is getting a benchmark. But also look out, we're going to do a series on healthy aging. We're going to also do videos on what types of testing you could do other than in the benchmarking phase to see where you're at. We're also going to talk to a physiotherapist about avoiding injuries, especially as you get a little older and you're trying to come from not a lot of work to increasing that workload and avoiding those injuries. And maybe try out a few different types of training. There's so many different venues and different ways of training and achieving goals. So we'll go and suss out a few of those as well. But the first one we're going to do is go and get a DEXA scan and see how much fat mass and body and lean mass that we're made up of. So our composition, so it's a very important one. So let's go do that. All right, I'm here in Physique Science on the Gold Coast. There's also Physique Science in Brisbane, but we're here to get a DEXA scale, DEXA scan. So it's a body density scan, and it tells us how say hi.
Hi.
I'm just talking to the people. So we're going to do a scan to see what my muscle mass and fat mass is. It'll also give my bone density. So it's a really good benchmark. That's what we need to know where we're at. Haven't done one for several years, so we just want to see what kind of nick I'm in from a composition point of view. We talked about composition and that stuff with Stephen Eddy in the podcast number 1. I also sent my wife in. That's why Alex is here. She's gone in to do hers. She hasn't done one since before Alex was born, so we're going to go on a bit of a mission together. So the first part is getting a benchmark. Wish us luck. All right, well, welcome back. I've just come back from the DEXA scan, and I thought I'd get none other than Stephen Eddy back from podcast 1, the Healthy Aging podcast.
Yep.
Steve, you're the man to decipher this DEXA scan and tell me what this result was all about. So you've got the printout there. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to screen record off my phone the actual result, so you can see what Stephen's got there.
Yep.
While he's talking about it. But yeah, mate.
Incredible.
So how'd we go? So sorry guys, I'm just pulling up this. Here we go. Here it is.
That's all right. We'll go to the first graph of it, and the first thing it says here, you're overweight.
Yeah, great.
Now, overweight is a different thing. You've got to remember, there's parts of the body that you can have a lot of. Like most people who are overweight have too much body fat. You got too much muscle. Not too much muscle.
Yeah.
But you're actually...
So the World Health Organization interpretation of BMI is like height by weight.
Yeah, it's weight divided by height in meters squared. Gives you a number around 20 to 25.
Yeah.
That's the average range for a male. You're 27 point something, about 27.
Yeah.
I'm about 22.
Right.
So I'm under muscle really. But the normal healthy range is from about 19 to 25. For women it's 19 to 24.
Yeah.
And you're 27, so you're overweight.
Technically overweight.
But we've got to get, that's the bad news, but it's not even bad news. The amazing news is you actually got a heck of a lot of muscle.
Right.
Does that surprise anybody? Look at the guns. You know what I mean? You've trained all your life.
So what does that mean though in terms of the BMI?
Well, you are overweight, but it means the BMI is irrelevant.
So does that mean that the World Health Organisation's got it wrong there?
They have, because they use what they call, I won't get too techo, but a bell curve, which means about 97% of people that have a high BMI are overweight bad.
Yeah.
You're in that. You're actually in the 1 percentile, which is the overweight good, like the classic.
And so I guess doing a composition scan like this, it gives you that breakdown then of your muscle mass and lean mass. So how does that?
Well, it's fantastic. Obviously, it's wonderful. And what they do is they use a lot of ratios here with the amount of body fat you've got. And we'll just use the trunk limb fat mass ratio, which is the ratio of how much fat you've got in your trunk and limbs, which is the important part.
Yeah.
You're in what they call the 1 percentile.
Right.
Now, what does that mean? That means for your age and sex, you are you're better than 99% of people in the population.
Right.
You're in the first percentile, which is incredible. So absolutely fantastic. You're in the first percentile.
But it says here also that my fat mass is 11 kilograms, and my total body mass is 80. What are those numbers? Total body mass is 82.636 kilos, and 11 kilos of just over 11 kilos of fat mass, and 71.5 of lean mass. So.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, we look at it as a percentage of your body composition, and you're 13.4% body fat, which is very lean. And in fact, going to that percentile, you're in the second percentile, so you're better than 98% of the population. You're leaner than 98% of the population of our age, which
is this age-adjusted thing, this last line on the column.
Yeah, age-adjusted is the AM column. The other one is completely with open, like every age group, which you shouldn't really look at for these, because I'm 50, you're not yet. Close enough. So with that percentile, you're at the second percentile, which is again better than 98%.
Okay, so let's relate this back to people at home. So I wanted to just show people what you could do to get a benchmark for your health, and then to make changes. And you talked in depth in podcast 1. You can have a look at that podcast about what type of eating you can do to help lose fat. So I'd like to lose some fat mass from that 11 kilos. Would that be okay?
Yes, it would be if you lose the right type of fat, because there's 2 types of fat in the body. Just for those who haven't heard, there's visceral fat, which is fat that sits under your muscles.
This is one I was a bit worried about, because I've been having a couple of beers, and I know that does contribute to the visceral fat. So we were looking at that number. Can we talk a bit about that?
Sure.
We just haven't finished explaining the types of fat.
No, that's right. The visceral fat is the fat that sits under your abdomen. So if you see the typical 50-year-old man that has the pot belly, that's actually beneath, and they'll feel it's very hard. And that's because the abdomen muscles have stretched over this big fat thing. And that fat in there is visceral fat. It's extraordinarily dangerous. It's completely metabolically active. It's continually spewing through the body, going through the coronary arteries, blocking them up.
Right, so that's the dangerous fat.
Dangerous fat. But it's easiest to lose.
And how do we work that out in this scan?
Sure. You have your estimated visceral adipose tissue there, and you scan through
the VAT, isn't it?
Yep, that's your total visceral adipose tissue.
So 309 grams.
Yep, that's the number there. So
relatively, and I remember I did message you and say, hey guys, what does that mean? Is that a lot or is it not? And you found a study that showed. So
you're much leaner than the average person.
So a client, if that was a red flag for me, is there a number that I should be looking for?
Really, what we do with people is we look at their body shape. So you do like measurements around here because not many people.
I remember that from podcast 1. I already took that measurement.
Absolutely. So the visceral fat will tend to sit higher, and the subcutaneous fat, the other fat, subcutaneous means under the skin. And I've got a bit there. You can just feel it. Grab it. And it's like that's subcutaneous fat, and that's the fat that's not dangerous, but it's a pain in the ass to get rid of. Great news is that's the part that lipo can target, but it's difficult to burn off. In fact, you have to really exercise.
So in terms of Guys Garage is about helping out guys at home that are trying to get through this and this healthy aging series that I want to do. Yours was the first one, and this one's about benchmarks. We laid down a benchmark here, so I still want to improve. I've got certain personal goals that I want to achieve, and I think I don't need to drag around 11 kilograms of body fat. I've done one of these about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was 5 kilograms of mass.
Lean,
and I felt really light and good, but I was probably a couple of kilos heavier in muscle, but my overall weight was a bit lighter, so it was a great result. But I need to do that. It's a bit harder sometimes to do that, but we're all like that. I have to decline that, sorry guys. So at home, guys at home, I went and got that at Physique Science, that DEXA scan. It was $90, and you can claim that on your private health as well. So it's really nice to, they're nutritionists up there, so you can claim it through that. if you've got that on your private health. So I just think it's great, to know where you're at. And the other good thing, I took my wife along. You would have seen there in that video when I had Alex in the waiting room. I just think it's important as a lifestyle thing to have the whole family in on it. Absolutely. It's pretty hard to do something, change your diet and everything, and only just be you doing it. So
what I absolutely love about this is one result is neither good nor bad. It's what's going to happen in 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, that's the question I want to ask you. Like I was thinking maybe 8 weeks. Try and make a bit of a difference.
For you can change it in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We used to do three months for people, 12 weeks, because that's a really good time to get them into their zone. Because there'll be the odd blowout, there'll be pizza. And
I've had a terrible week this week. But I was thinking maybe if I just divided the day up into 3 basic meals, obviously there's snacks, but I thought maybe I can try and string 9 meals together before I have a blowout, then maybe 12, just try and do a bit better. Blowouts. And the more you do that, I notice when you do have a blowout, you go, I feel terrible, I don't want to do that, and because you benchmark yourself, it's coming up again, you kind of a little bit more accountable,
And you don't have to do if you want to have a binge, and you're right, it does make you feel sick, because that's actually a natural response.
Yeah.
You see people who smoke, and that feels better. That's an unnatural response.
Yeah.
You should be coughing your guts out.
Yeah.
If you eat bad food, you should feel sick.
Yeah.
That's a healthy response.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we look for that, but people like to have these cheat meals for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't, because I know the harm they do.
Yes.
And it puts on fat in the sub-Q area, so it's difficult to move. And then next time you exercise, you've got to burn that off before you get to your roll fat.
Well, we'll look at that. We've got a benchmark now. I'm going to start doing some other podcasts after this, or some other videos after this one about types of training and how we can start targeting these fat areas. Then we're going to do a little bit of diet, equipment, different venues that you can go and train. There's so many things, and there's also, I'm going to have a crack at doing a respiratory rate test. So we'll talk more about that later. But do you know much about the respiratory rate stuff? It's a treadmill test where we run on a treadmill and we actually get a heart rate, and they take the gases.
Oh, they're doing gas analysis.
Gas analysis, and they work out when I go from burning sugar to burning fat to burning sugar. So as your intensity goes up, you start to burn more sugar.
Correct. Yeah.
So we're going to go and do that with Josh Meyer. Look out for that one. So that'll be another really good benchmark, and then I can tailor my fat loss and my other training.
It's very important. They call it a fat burning zone, and there's all this data on you. You will, like if you sprint, you'll use pretty much glucose, because it'll be anaerobic, which is without air. You'll just break down sugar into lactic acid, so you stop quickly because you get burned. Yeah. The aerobic stuff means you can burn more oxygen.
Yeah, if you're targeting fat loss, that's the way to go.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. So look out for that one. Thanks, Steve. That's awesome. That's part of our benchmark video. So look out for the next healthy aging one. So
excellent.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys.